Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I am here at South by Southwest with our second band that we're interviewing this week, the Viper Club. Guys, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So we're in Austin. You guys literally just got here, 3 hours ago?
Just
Talk about the trip from where you were at.
Oh yeah, it was a 14-hour drive from Phoenix. Pretty rough. I took the first leg, Nate took the second. Off camera, but Hannah took the third. And Jared just looked pretty all the time.
Yeah, he was supportive, right?
No, he kept me awake for my whole drive shift.
So what was the playlist? What were we listening to? A little bit of everything?
Well, Nate and I have very different playlists.
Okay.
Take over. We each have to have the aux when we do the thing.
Okay.
So, mine is a little more like, we have the same tastes, but they like branch off in a way. So like I'll go a little more pop, and Nate will go like a little more like, I don't know, what would you call it?
Darker.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that's kind of a general ballpark.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But LCD sound system. Love them.
James Murphy.
Yeah. King Murphy.
They did like a 10-night residency in Brooklyn, I think, like over the holidays.
I think so.
Craziness. A lot of these bands now, I'm noticing, are doing like residents, 5, 6 nights. Yeah. Like think about it. It is, and it benefits the band. It benefits the venue. I mean, and for an audience too, like. You're not going to hear too many repeats if you're seeing a show 5 nights in a row. Seeing the same band. So guys, talk about like how you guys started as a band. What got you into music growing up? When did we start playing? Give us a little background on the history.
I mean, we've been playing since I was like 14. He was like 16.
Self-taught? Did you have lessons?
We had like the equal amount of lessons. Okay. Probably like about 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years of lessons each. Yeah. And then just kind of started playing music and writing together, and that kind of like finished out the competence like enough to be able to play live.
Or you felt confident enough to do it in front of people. I gotcha.
And we've had like 3 or 4 different bands. Yeah, I got my driver's license, and Nate and I just kind of started doing it. And we had a band for a while, and that was a nice time. That was about 4 years because Nate and I could get our like sea legs with it, and it was like a nice growing curve. We didn't realize it at the time, I feel like you never really know that until you get to a point where you're like, okay, it's time to put this away, because you just need time to grow as a person. Artists and stuff, and so that's where Viper Club kind of came to play.
Okay.
As Nate and I had gone 4 years with this other band, and kind of were just like, this is not. It just didn't know what it wanted to be because we were growing up.
Yeah, it was more of like a survival tactic to rebrand than.
It was part of the process, right? Yeah. It was just like a step. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. So then Viper Club starts, and. How many did you guys release an EP right away? Did you just release singles? How did that, from a recording process start?
So actually, so in the band prior, we had written a song called Beatrix, and and so that was a song where like Nate and I wanted to have somebody else to work with on it, like a good producer. So we reached out to a couple of different places. And then our friend Jim Roach was one of the people that replied to our email, and his email reply was a lot different than other people's because other people were just like, here's the price, here's the thing, and he was like, this is like the coolest thing. And he was just like super stoked on it. And then that's actually where we went to Jarek. So that's kind of how Jarek falls into all of it.
Okay.
We just did singles. We just had I think we had 4 or 5 in the beginning. And we just
that sounds about right.
They were super. We knew them. We did them all with him, and then eventually Nate just started doing it for us, and we kind of just took our own. He taught us a lot, and we kind of just took our own torch, and we still work with him and all that. But But yeah,
DIY approach.
yeah,
right?
we're kind of like self-sufficient.
Yeah, you really have
It's
to.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And technology has really helped that.
Yeah.
Pro Tools, all those kind of,
We're like
programs.
prime sessions with other people.
Yeah.
Over Zoom, it's insane.
Yeah. Have you? So you've done that, or you've?
I've been a part of that, not
Okay.
for the biker club, but
Yeah.
just in general.
Yeah.
I've been a part of it.
Yeah, it is kind of cool how that's
super cool.
Yeah, you can just like remote control it.
Yeah.
So
I remember Tenacious D did something like that, like over 2020 COVID times.
the live stream or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say though, the live streams, I talked to some other bands about doing those live streams, and it was just the worst experience for them. Because like you're just performing to a single
Yeah.
camera, like there's no audience, there's no, like you might have like mom and dad there, but that's about it. Like, how do you like create that energy that
It's actually a funny story about that. So during COVID, we actually did one, and we canned it because it was
really?
so, yeah, we just like we watched it back and we were like, we can't put this out.
But when we did it, I feel like a camera in a room would have been better, because what we did was we rented out a venue, like one of the venues that was closed
Sure.
for COVID.
Yeah,
And
trying to help them out as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was cheap. It was like $200 or something.
Yeah.
We just rented it out, filmed it in an empty venue, and made it look like a show. And it was just so weird.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like band practice.
Because your videos are super, super cool.
Oh,
like
yeah.
who like is that like are you guys
Yeah, that's
video editing all that stuff, right? I mean that's just
Well, so we found Corey, who's our guy that will do our videos, and he and I will just like collab on a lot of them. But I mean, when Biker Club started, it was kind of like pitched as like a cinematic rock thing. Like we wanted to just take, because Beatrix was from a movie, and so we were like, how do we like kind of tie these two art forms together? And so in the beginning, we did like hyper cool like music videos to do it,
and that was the Quentin Tarantino inspiration. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was that song we wrote. I watched Kill Bill with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and I just walked into the kitchen and I had the hook in my head. And I remember Nate had, so at the time when we made demos, and it's since, thank God, developed.
Yeah.
But at the time, we would just go on Nate's bed and sit there with like a 2-channel like interface, and then just plug strings in.
Yeah, one of the channels is broken.
Like Fruity Loops drums, like it was just the worst. Like that's just how we made it, and it sounds terrible. Like the demo is awful, which is more to the point of why Jim came back with that email meant so much, because it's like hearing it now, it's
Right,
like,
I can fix this.
It's terrible.
Right.
Like, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
having the ability to see like the center of something, and I think that's kind of what the videos try to do, is they try and bring that center to a visual, which is
The come through video is just eye candy. It
that
really
was
is.
so
Like,
fun.
yes.
That one was different because Corey hit us up and he's like, bro, I got a Super 8 camera, a bunch of film, I'll do it for free, let's go.
Yeah,
We're like,
it's
okay.
so like it's so. I mean, the Beatrix video is great, but
Come through that swag.
Yeah. So I want to talk about come through, because how do you produce that kind of like, it almost sounds like a Tom Morello kind of like sound, like, which, I mean, that's high praise, of course. So, but like,
okay.
I'm only laughing because it's like this is
That was the
this
effort and what we did to get that.
yeah, but it really like makes it like, and it's nice that you don't do it throughout the song.
It's in that part.
Right.
Yeah. So how that came about?
Well, before you say that, let me just say,
Yeah.
whenever we record, like, there's stages. There's like the rough section where we're just like have everything tracked, but then it starts to sound like a song, and it's like, man, this sounds good, but it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't really sound like us. And then we spend like a whole day just doing like random passes of the song, just like digging around basically.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to sound
Where you can play around with it.
And that's what that was.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
The microclub is always like some, exactly what Nate said, like some weird thing.
Yeah, like a modification from the. Yeah.
Just good, like laughing and goofing off.
That one,
Yeah.
We stumble on
so
stuff.
that trick I actually do live as well.
So we can see that
We
tomorrow.
will, yes. That's,
For more than one song, or you just do it for come through?
I guess I could do it for, I could do it for 2 of them. So I play guitar on 2 songs.
Okay.
One of them has come through, the other one is one that comes
Right,
out.
because you do it on video, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a new track on Wednesday?
Yeah, you do.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. And what's it called?
It's called Insanity. Yeah.
All right. And what's the song about?
That song is about not liking someone, just kind of wishing someone not well.
Fair enough.
That's the best way I can say it.
Okay.
But
More harder then? Is it like rhythmically? How is it?
I feel like it sits rhythmically in the same area as like I Don't Want to Grow Up does.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it has like a little bit of the come through swagger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I Don't Want to Grow Up.
The bravado of it.
Yeah.
I love that about it.
Yeah.
Like you really can, you do that very, very well. Like
Thank you.
that bravado kind of like that kiss off kind of like you know, it has that punk kind of feel to it. Yeah. And the music kind
That's
of.
the goofing off. That's
There
what
you
I'm talking about.
That's the good way. Yeah, so well, back to the come through thing.
Yeah.
So how we did that was Nate and I. So Nate and I, instead of like buying a slide for a slide guitar, we would just find things, you know, like a beer bottle or whatever. And so yeah, so I used my vape for that one on the recording, and I still do it live, and I think it's hilarious.
It honestly sounds better than like a lot of slides too.
Yeah,
So
and
okay.
it's flat, so I can like do Tom Morello stuff, and it like
Yeah.
translates well.
Yeah, but that's exactly, or that's when I first heard it, I was like, oh my God, I was like, how did they pull it off? And like, when we finally, like, when we like were able to do this interview, I was like, it's one of the first questions I asked, like, how did you pull that off? So,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a big
Yeah.
thing, man. You
Great.
can do it with beer bottles. I'll do it
But,
later.
yeah, but you feel like the vape pen is a little, you have a little bit more control, and it's a little bit, yeah.
I do, yeah.
It's just got this little grip.
Because I keep that thing on me, you know? It's always there.
Yeah.
It always sits there. And I just,
Your phone and
yeah.
It's like a silver bullet.
It's like my sixth finger, you know?
So talk about, we kind of touched a little bit on technology and stuff, but like social media and like as a band, having to kind of get in that rat race and that like wheel. Talk about that. You know, like,
Right.
is that a pain in the butt, or do you mind it? Like, what is that? How much do you try to spend on it? How much do you know?
I feel like, so, yeah, I feel like a lot of, and this is just my opinion about it, but I feel like a lot of people, bands specifically, like just see social media as like this huge wave, you know, like, oh my God, I had to do this to like get popular or whatever. And like, honestly, the only thing people want to see out of you is just you being you.
And you're
And
playing
that's
live, right?
Yeah, that is it. Like, that's all people want to
Right.
see. And if you do anything else, they're going to call it because
Right.
people see, it's not right, but I think there's like some statistic that says you see like 1 million ads a day or whatever. And like, that point is like, people know when they're being advertised to, but people also know when they're being talked to. And so I think the most important thing is you have to just make people know that they're being talked to and not, you know,
Because
shocked.
when they're talking to it, they listen.
Yeah, exactly. And when you just like, you know, bag them all the time, it's like, you know, that's,
Yeah, because like you could see, especially on YouTube, like hundreds of ads in a day.
Mhm.
But you'll remember like a funny video from 8 years ago that's like 4 seconds long.
Right.
You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, songwriting process. Are you guys more of a music first then lyrics, or are we more lyrics first then music, or is it kind of a kind of a modification like how you do, you know, when you finish the song?
That's a good question. I feel like we start with music first.
Usually acoustic or electric, or it depends.
Okay. Like, if Nate and I write together, we start with music
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
If we write separately, it's different for both of us.
Okay.
But yeah, together we'll start with music and we'll just like the song Reese Witherspoon that we have.
Mhm.
That one Nate and I wrote as a joke, and it was just like we sat in the room and just
That was the lyrics first.
yeah, that was the lyrics
Okay.
first one,
Okay.
and that one I think Nate wrote the
Riff.
bass hook for it,
Okay.
yeah, and then we just kind of made it this ass joke, and it was like just the funniest thing.
And I ask why Reese Witherspoon of all
Don't know.
American female white actresses?
I don't know. It just kind of in my head, like it was just like yeah, one dance.
Yeah, no, like, she never, like, did anything to you or?
Nothing like that. No, I have no previous experience. I hope she hears it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe she will dance.
Yeah,
I just want to solve
offhand, I think that she is kind of into music. So yeah, I think
maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's got her position one day. Who knows? Maybe it's South by.
she might be here.
Wouldn't that
Kristen Bell's here, so maybe she'd tag along.
I'll hang out with Dak Shepard. I'd be like, bro, can you hook me up? I got this song about Reese Witherspoon that she might hate.
She might hate.
No way.
That's great. So, I mean, you guys have been, so you basically now toured for how long? How many years? Amongst the bands that you've been in?
It's been, I think our first tour was in 2018. Yeah.
So 5 years. So, favorite venue to play, favorite city to play?
Oh, that's a good one. Because there's venues that we play that we don't like, but we remember.
Okay.
And then there's like ones that we
And maybe like a crazy story from a venue that, either like a venue owner that didn't pay or, some bull crap like that.
The craziest story I think we have is not in a venue.
You're talking about Kansas City.
Well, that one was not. But I'm talking about the big
We'll wait on Kansas City.
Kansas City. That one ended up closing. No, actually, let's get into
Yes.
No names. But there was a specific house that everyone was like, you gotta go play here. Like, when we were booking it, they were like, you gotta go play here. Like, this is the spot in Kansas City that you gotta go.
Okay.
We show up, and it is like, it's just like a little rough, okay? And so we walk in, and we're like, all right, this is cool. Like, because it's us. Like, we can get down and rough.
If it was going to be a mansion, you might be like, yeah.
Right. We'd be like, why are we here?
Yeah.
And so we walk in, and he's like, yeah, just put your stuff in my room. And we're like, okay. It was legitimately a house. Like, they mixed it from the kitchen. Like, it was, yeah.
Which was nothing, like, that aspect wasn't crazy to us, because we've been playing house shows at the time.
So we go.
James Murphy would have invited you. It would have been a different story.
It would have been rad. And so we go put our stuff in this room, and they.
Yeah, well, I was like, where should we put our drums before we play and all our stuff? And he's like, there's 2 rooms here and here, like down the hall. It's at the end of the hall. So they're just parallel rooms. And I walk in the right. I saw like a drum kit in this one as I was walking up. So I'm like, okay, I went there.
Okay.
And I start like putting my stuff down, and my shoes are like crunching against the carpet. I'm walking in, I'm like, what's happening? Because I'm carrying a kick drum, so I can't really see. And I put it down, and the whole entire floor is covered with cat litter. Like the entire floor. I'm like, why is there cat litter in here? And there's like a giant litter box in the like closet, and the doors are like ripped off of the closet. And then there's like a pee stain in the corner, and there's like poop. And I'm like, okay, other room. And then like walk in the other room, and then it's just like, there's just like paper towels and like napkins and just everything all over the floor. Like, it was rough. Like,
oh my gosh. Kansas City, come on.
And then like the stage, right? Like the stage, or I guess the living room, like the floor, like you could put a marble on the floor, and then it would just like roll down. It was really double. You could feel it, like it was that bad. Like you could walk and feel it.
Right.
The floor was like, going.
Sure.
Yeah. We're all good for that.
his dog was just like walking around the entire time too.
Yeah.
Like just
Chilled off.
He didn't mind the cat litter, huh?
Dog was doing nothing wrong.
Okay.
But the craziest story we have is when our band broke down.
yeah.
That is by far
The old band breakdown stories are that's always the best.
So we were driving back from Colorado, and this was our last tour that Dr. put on. It was a year ago from November, so it's been a minute since we've been on the road.
Okay.
And so we're coming back from Colorado. Nate and I switched like 10 in the morning, something like that. Just got out of Colorado.
It was like 1 or 2.
Yeah. So we left at like 7 from Colorado. We get in and we're driving, and then we get like to New Mexico, and then Nate and I are like, okay, we're gonna switch off. So we switch off. Nate drives a little bit. He's like, I want to get some gas. So he pulls over in this place called Wagon now, and it's like side of the road, no one around,
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, exactly. Tumbleweed, like convenience store, 2 people working.
Yeah.
Like,
Only one light on, one like letter on.
Yeah. So we get in, everyone gets out, goes potty, whatever, and then we get back in the van, and Nate starts it up.
It ran for like 2 seconds and it sputtered. Then it went out and I was like, oh man. And
It's not good.
I checked the fuses, I checked for like bad fuel pump, just looked for everything that would do that, and like nothing was wrong. Like fuses were fine. I was like, damn, this is gonna need like a shot.
Battery's okay. Yeah.
And so I walk into the convenience store, and at this point we realize we need a tow, right? And so I walk in and I'm like, hey, like, does anyone know, like, is there a tow truck company that you guys can call? And the one lady's like, yeah, here's a number right here. This other guy that's working walks over and he's like, oh, you don't want to use them. And we're like, why? He's like, oh, they're expensive. You can't have it. We're like, okay, well, is there a tow company? He's like, no. And I was like, what are we supposed to do? I guess that's our only choice.
Expensive or nothing, right?
I can't really. So, anyways, tow truck driver shows up. And this guy, first thing he does is gets out of his tow truck and he's like, I got no phone call. And we're like, what? And he's like, I'm just waiting with you. I'm gonna go get a monster. He like goes in and gets a monster. They get some orange slices, and he comes back and he's like, all right, I'm gonna get in. So we have Nate and the rest of the guys in the back of the thing, and then me up front with this guy. And we start going with this guy. First thing he does in the car is he looks over and he goes, you want any orange slices? And I'm like, no, okay. He's like, all right, and he just starts shoving them in. Like, he was dying. He was really sick.
He was vitamin C deficient.
He was vitamin C deficient, but they were the candy orange slices. They weren't even real orange slices. They've got vitamin something, so that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so he, oh my God. So we start driving. And so we're going down, the Mexico highway and like swerving through the mountains and stuff like that. This whole time, this man is talking to us. He's like, yeah, I actually went down to, like, he's talking about this restaurant we went to. And he's like, they got the best 16-ounce steak there I've ever had in my life. And we're like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, look, I took a picture of it. And he like whips out his phone. The whole time he's driving.
And then when he pulled out his phone and he's like looking through, he had to use his other hand to scroll on the phone, so he puts his knees up on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And then
In a tow truck.
In a tow truck.
Oh,
Like 85 miles
the highway.
Oh, highway. And he's like looking at me, he's like, yeah, look at that. And then he goes, and he starts throwing it back. He's like, check that out, guy. And everyone's like, all right, okay. And then he starts talking. He told us, there's a lot of things that I probably can't say on this podcast that he told us that might incriminate him. But it was a very interesting 2.5-hour ride. I'm sure. It was supposed to be 2.5 hours. It was only an hour. This man is a speed demon, let me tell you. That needle.
Oh yeah, well the truck, the speedometer on the tow truck capped out like 85, and like the entire drive for like 2 hours, the thing was just like flipping on the end.
He knew you had to get on.
Yeah, honestly, like
he knew.
Solid dude.
Before I finish these orange slices.
Like, you can say all you want about that guy, but he knew that we had to get there at a certain time. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get you there. And he knew it.
And it's expensive.
And he made it worth every penny.
He made it worth every penny. We pulled up to the mechanic. The mechanic, I will say, his name was Rudy. And he stayed there for like 2 hours with us and like showed us everything about our van. Super nice guy. Like, literally stayed late to help us.
Yeah, it was like 8 o'clock and we closed at 5.
Yeah,
that's
like just an angel. Great. So the rest of the guys got a rental car from the airport and drove home because they had to be back for some stuff. And so Nate and I stayed back in the van. And then Nate and I had a 10, it was like 9.5 hour drive back home in this van that we weren't sure was going to run.
So what was actually wrong with it? Did you?
So
there were other things.
Oh, okay, all right.
I bought the van a couple months previous to that, and I had been.
The van you guys are driving now, or is this a new one?
This is a different one.
Different, okay.
And I had done a lot of work to it, and taken it in to get like work that I can't do on it. And what it ended up being was a fuel pump, because nobody changed. It's a 90, and nobody ever changed the fuel pump on it. So the fuel line is just like
17-year-old fuel pump.
The best part is that after driving this thing 10 hours, and like we would stop and like put random ass gas station, you know, like just we're freaked out. We don't know if this thing's gonna start. Like when we finally get back home and get it like diagnosed, whatever, people check it out, you know, and the guy's like, oh yeah, this thing was like ready to blow, basically. And so Nate and I basically drove a bomb for like 9.5 hours.
Oh well, I'm sorry. It was a fuel filter. Yeah, the pump at that time was fine, and that's so like the whole time we're driving, like just all, like I think it was the oil pressure gauge. I don't know if this is because of that, because I'm not super sure about the cars, but it was just like going like this and it's idling super hard. It needed some gaskets too, and it was just like
R.I.P. to her, right?
R.I.P. Well, she's still sick.
She's still
She's still kicking.
Okay, all right. So we just don't take her on long trips.
We don't take her.
We don't know if we trust her again.
We don't know if we trust her. We don't know. She's got a really It's terrifying.
Well, I will say, guys, cheers to that tow truck driver, and cheers to that maintenance, or to the mechanic, Mr. Rudy, for taking good care of you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Well, guys, this was great. Thank you so much for doing this. We're going to do a couple of acoustic songs next. So this has been the Music Lab Podcast. My name is Dogg. Peace and one love.
Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Raw Outfitters, we are an independent, family-owned clothing company for all ages. Check out our inventory of shirts and hoodies at www.rawoutfitters.com and follow our social media pages. Don't just wear,